Good morning and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me, Sangha, and my awesome co host, Martin. Today we have Francisco Florez-Revuelta. Forgive me if I have not pronounced it correctly, Professor. He's the Professor of Computer Vision and Technologies for Active and Healthy Aging at the University of Alicante. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Sangha, Morten.
Good to have someone with us who's actually, and you can't see this as our listeners, but the backdrop of the video right now, it seems like you've actually got sun in Alicante.
Yes, of course.
Well,
Most of the days they are sunny here in Alicante, yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. That's not UK weather for us, is it, Sangha?
No, it isn't, no.
I'm really interested because I haven't heard too much about what you do, Francisco. Can you give us a layout of the land for you? What are you working on?
Okay, so as Sangha said, I'm a professor in computer vision for assisted living. So I've been doing research in computer vision for more than 25 years. Some time ago, we were working more on having cameras on robots. Then we moved to home automation and putting cameras in homes. But obviously, there were many issues related to, many concerns about the use of cameras in private environments. So at some point, I decided to study how we could take video surveillance, let's say that we use in public environments to private environments. So I went to Kingston University there in the UK for 5 years, that they were specialists in video surveillance for public environments, airports, train stations, etc. And trying to take that to more private spaces, particularly personal homes, but it could be hospitals, care homes. So from there, I returned to Spain, and then I've coordinated a number of projects on how to make these video monitoring systems acceptable for people, particularly for older people. So I have collaborated with different experts all around Europe with different expertise on, I don't know, sociology, health, law. So I have a technical background, so I was trying to have all those other people on board. So right now I'm coordinating two very large European projects. One of them is visual, that is a Marie Curie project. So Marie Curie projects are projects in which we train PhD students to do their PhD. So we are training 15 PhD students on different aspects of the use of cameras for active and assisted living. So we have some people that are studying all the ethical aspects, some other people that are studying the legal aspects, and some other people that are developing technical solutions based on all the knowledge that we are generating here. Because usually, as technical people, we say that we consider that maybe technology can do everything, but we don't have this expertise on the legal aspects or user acceptance or ethical aspects. So this has been very good because these PhD students, they are learning all these different aspects. And then I'm also chairing course action called Good Brother. That is a network of experts, massive network. Right now we are approximately 200 experts from around 48 countries.
Wow.
So with all this other expertise, no? So legal, ethical, societal, we have philosophers, the engineers, etc. So it's very good because we can learn from each other, and that's why we call it Good Brother, because we want to move from this Big Brother surveillance feeling, continuous feeling, to a good brother that could care for us and could support our care. So that's more or less what I do.
Awesome. Professor, you also had a very big event beginning of this week. Can you share some insights from in there? I would love to hear about, some of the challenges that you come across specifically from the care homes or, where we are providing the care to people.
Yes, yeah. So in Good Brother, we are organizing different working groups. So we have one working group in which those studying ethics, legal, societal aspects, study um, um, how cameras, so the potential benefits and the perceived barriers for adoptions of cameras.
Mm,
And we have other working groups, for instance, working on how to ensure privacy in images and audio,
mm,
and some other group working on um, the development of video-based AEL solutions, AEL for active and assisted living. So this meeting was to put into contact those people working on the ethical legal issues and those developing the solution so that we could bridge this knowledge gap and be able to develop these technologies. So it was the first meeting in which we had both types of experts together, and it was very fruitful. So we could learn from each other. We present our current work in the different disciplines, and we had also the opportunity to know um, the the impressions from different stakeholders. For instance, the Reading Council and some experts with a profile in psychology or ethics, and a company using robots, social robots. Yeah.
mhm,
In the UK, it's quite common that care services, care homes, for instance, residential nursing homes, install CCTV or other types of surveillance cameras, microphones, etc. And on CQC's website, they say that the potential benefits are to protect people's safety, for example, from the risk of unsafe care or treatment, to keep premises and property safe and secure, and also to do this without restricting individuals' activities. But are these similar to the benefits of surveillance that you're seeing or that this project you're overseeing has found?
Uh, I would say that maybe in the UK there is more concern on the quality of care that people in care homes are receiving, and also about cases of abuse of vulnerable people. Um, However, the situation changes across Europe. Even inside one country, it can change a lot. So I would say that in other parts of Europe, um, cameras are seen more to be able to monitor our loved ones, not so much on concerns about abuse.
mm,
Um, and I think that this is something that it depends on the local situation. For instance, I remember I was in the UK. We applied for a European project. We had some Irish and British universities involved, and we wanted to pilot the system. And they said from the very beginning, no, 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 no. We don't want to pilot a system with cameras. We use sensors, the usual presence sensors or pressure sensors in mats, etc. However, in Mediterranean countries, they didn't have any concern about piloting with cameras. However, I remember, so there was this program on BBC Panorama showing some cases of abuse in care homes, and then they suddenly changed their minds and they thought, okay, maybe we need to pilot also with cameras. And that was the time in which the CQC published this document, these guidelines on the use of covered cameras in care homes. And I think it was HC1, one care home provider there in the UK. They published also a big survey on the use of overt or visible cameras. So it's the application is different. However, we are not studying so much CCTV like surveillance. We are more studying how can we use cameras for monitoring. So, for instance, to remote monitoring of vital signs, to recognize emotions, to monitor food intake, for activity and behavior recognition. So all these kind of different applications that can support all the people in their daily lives, probably in their own homes, okay, not so much on care homes, okay?
And how much of that technology aspect now is integrated with the whole AI technology? And because monitoring, then using that data to then eventually come up with predictions that someone is whether consuming their food correctly or didn't, or had a choke or didn't. How are you then taking it forward in that direction?
Yeah, it's completely connected. So, computer vision, machine learning is a joint field. So we are working with artificial intelligence every day to try to recognize behavior, to detect falls. For instance, detecting fall will be something reactive. So we are trying to be proactive. So how can we prevent falls? Maybe analyzing the gait of all the people. I don't know, frailty recognition. So there are many different areas in which we can use or we use artificial intelligence. And so in my particular work, I'm using cameras for two different things. So on one side, we want to recognize events or monitor activity with cameras. We want to provide the videos to a caregiver. That could be a professional or could be a family member. But then we have here the concerns because, for instance, cameras are the main sensor that is used in public environments. In the UK is the main example. You have cameras everywhere. And why do we use cameras? Because it's the sensor that provides the data that is easier to understand. However, when we move to a private environment, we don't want to use cameras because of that reason. So we substitute cameras for a number of different sensors that do simple things, what we call binary sensors. So if a door is open or closed, a drawer is open or closed, etc., a person is present or not. So what we are trying to do is, can we use cameras in private environments? So benefiting from all this important information that cameras can gather while preserving privacy. So what we are doing in other works is, can we transform the images using artificial intelligence in real time so that a caregiver monitoring remotely the images could assess the situation, but they are not able to see the person, like the real appearance of the person. So we are working on that area. And then artificial intelligence is maybe the solution to address the privacy issues. People are usually worried about artificial intelligence, like concerns about privacy. But in this case, we are using artificial intelligence the other way around to preserve privacy.
It looks like a huge project there, Francisco, I think, because it would need a lot of funding to really work the whole thing in tandem, isn't it? It's not just about identifying, then how are you putting around all sorts of preventative measures then to have the right kind of outcome. And specifically because we're looking at, vulnerable people and also people who we want to age really well. So, what are the challenges you're finding in pushing this project through?
Yeah, mainly on it's a big gap between what is legal, what we can do, what users would accept. Because we say, okay, we can do this from the technological perspective. We can do this, and then the lawyers say, no, no, you cannot do it because it's not legal. And then we consider, okay, what we are doing is legal, so we can do it. But then the user comes and says, no, 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 I don't want it this way. I have my concerns regarding trust and acceptance, so I don't want to use that. So it's this making something that could be trustworthy, acceptable, based on cameras. So it will take a lot of time. I've been working probably with this idea 10, 15 years from now. And since that, yeah, I've been working all this time, and now I can see maybe an end for this, because there are many video-based applications for active assisted living that are completed in research labs. However, they don't reach the market because of these concerns. And not only people, so older people, but the relatives, professionals, also the public institutions would benefit of the use of these cameras if we could make them acceptable and we could protect privacy. Even care, long-term care needs a change because it's going to be unfeasible to deliver all this care in, I don't know, 10, 20 years time, with an aging population, the higher cost in providing care. So we need to find these solutions to be able to remotely monitor people and provide these services.
There's another thing that just come to my mind is that 10 years back, I took part in a pan-European project, like I think quite similar to what you're describing now. And what my experience was back then was that some of the technology that we were working on, which was predominantly some Internet of Things and what you've already described as home automation as well, and putting some intelligence into the workflows and life flows of people. So if someone got out of bed, then if they were going towards their toilet, then a light would turn on there. But right now I'm seeing in your particular field, really, really strong companies come out with solutions that somewhat sound similar to what you're doing. I'm thinking of Sensio, who are based in Norway, but are now expanding into the UK as well. Or it could be from the UK and out, someone like Lily. And are you finding it difficult because right now you're a research entity? Are you finding it difficult then to keep up with the commercialization? Also because sensors, cameras, etc., over the last 10, 15 years have gotten so much cheaper that actual companies could find it beneficial to start up within this particular field while you're actually doing research and making sure everything is founded and secure and based on proper legislation. Are you finding that difficult between research and commercialization then?
Yes, and I come back again to user acceptance. I don't think you can reach the market if you don't think that you are going to have enough consumers. And for instance, here we are starting the process of creating a startup, and we thought, okay, let's go B2C, so that to sell this product to the individuals, and then we had to move to a B2B. Okay, that's too risky. We need to go maybe to sell to care homes, because I don't think people are still prepared to adopt this kind of cameras for, let's say, monitoring all the people, because we are seeing more and more how people buy cameras in their homes, for instance, to monitor their pets or their children when they are alone at home. However, not for this, not for to provide, I don't know, rehabilitation, or for social robots, or for to recognize emotions or support people with dementia. We are not seeing that right now. We are seeing simpler things, as the companies that you mentioned and some other, but not with more services on top of it.
Fantastic. I think we are almost running out of our time. We could have spoken for hours on, because this is such an interesting topic, and we have only unpeeled the very first layer, probably even not that, because when you are thinking of different countries, the legalities, the GDPR, which is obviously not there in some other countries, but data rights are very different, consumer expectations are different. So this can clearly go on and on and on, but we are bound by time. I have two last questions for you. One is, what is your prediction for the next 12 months in this field, and specifically with regards to care?
Morten has just mentioned that 10 years ago he was working on Internet of Things and adding some intelligence to it. And not much has changed since then. So it has reached more the market, but in terms of applications, more or less we have the same. So in terms of the use of cameras, I don't see just in 1 year that we will see many video-based solutions for all the people in the market. Maybe we could see more cameras or solutions just to be able to watch our care ones, maybe with some kind of privacy preservation. But I don't see, or maybe some fall detection solution, but not so many applications. Maybe in the next 3-5 years, I think we can see more solutions for, as I mentioned, rehabilitation or food intake monitoring or live logging. Not only using cameras located in the environment, but maybe also wearable cameras, obviously combined with the Internet of Things or other bunch of sensors in the environment, so complementing each other. I would see it more on that period, but things are changing quite fast now, and could be somehow a revolution in a new machine learning model appears in the next year and things change. Like now we have with ChatGPT, or everyone talking about that in that particular field of language. Maybe something changes in the field of vision.
Awesome. And what one question you want to ask our next guest?
If they would install a camera in their homes, for instance, in the bathroom in which falls are more usual, if they would use it.
Thank you, Francisco. It's been lovely talking to you today. I'm sure we'll stay in touch, because this is absolutely a field that's more than emerging in the UK healthcare sector right now. So thank you for today.
Thank you very much to you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Greatly enjoyed our session today.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, review, and share your favorite Take Care podcast with your friends and colleagues. Until we meet next week, take care.